Hey guys, it's Elite here. So I wanted to make a different type of video this time, mostly going over the different type of game mechanics in MechAssault, and basically try and explain them and how they work, and maybe show like some of the code to show how exactly it works, and basically just give an explanation on, how this kind of stuff works behind the scenes basically. I know a lot of this stuff is a bit confusing on how exactly it works, and why it leads to like some misinformation about how it works, and maybe you guys have some ideas in your head, like how, oh, it must work like this because, that's how it's simple, but MechAssault is a bit of a strange game behind the scenes at least. So some stuff doesn't really make that much sense, but it kind of does at the same time if you, once you understand how it works. You'll guys see what I mean when I get into it. If you guys have any suggestions for what kind of game mechanics you want me to explain, or just anything behind the scenes, like why this happens or why this works like this, then yeah, just leave me a comment and I'll probably go through it. But for this video, these are the ones I just thought of myself at least. Okay, first up we have the Cripple mechanic, or sometimes known as Limping, or whatever you want to call it when your mech starts like dragging his leg on the ground. Basically when you start like going super slow. This one, I don't think most people realize how this one works. This also sort of relates to how the AI lose their limbs in campaign and stuff, or grind I guess. Now you probably know that in MechAssault multiplayer at least, you can't destroy another player's limb. But even though that's the case, there is something that's still used for multiplayer even though you can't see it physically at least. Every mech in the game has arm HP and leg HP, so they have 2 arms and 2 legs, so each arm and each leg has a different HP amount, okay? Just like how you have health, your arms and your legs have health as well. This is separate to the actual health you see on your HUD. That's a completely different thing. Your arms and your legs have their own health. And yes, this applies to players online as well, not just for AI. Basically, you getting crippled or you start limping is basically a result of you taking too much damage to one of your limbs. Sometimes you might have a lot of HP, but you still start limping, and it's because your health and your limb HP is completely different. You can't see how much health your limbs have, but it's still working behind the scenes. So sometimes your limb HP might be like 0, and you start limping, but your main health is like 70% plus, and that's the reason why. Now when you grab a health pickup, this is actually healing your limbs as well as your main health, which is why when you get your health pickup, you still stop limping because your health, like your limbs, are restored to their full HP, but your limbs have a lot less HP than your main HP. So you have your main health bar, and you have your limb health bar, and that's usually like way lower than your actual main health bar, which is why you can take more damage to your actual health and still be alive, but you start limping. Now you can't really target specific limbs in MechAssault, but usually explosive type weapons or like radius type weapons, like LRMs or I don't know, PPCs or whatever, lava gun, they usually damage a lot of the limbs at the same time, which is why those type of weapons usually make you get crippled a lot higher than normal weapons like lasers, because lasers don't really do radius damage, they just do direct damage to your mech. Yeah, sometimes like the damage isn't applied to your limbs, and sometimes it is, so it's kind of like something that just happens, you can't really control it basically. If you see here, if I set my limbs to 0 HP, and then I shoot with just 1 bullet, I'll instantly start limping, even though I have full health. So health has nothing to do with you limping, okay? Now that everyone understands that. As long as one of your legs has no HP, then you'll start limping. And yeah, that's basically how the cripple mechanic works in MechAssault. Okay, now let's explain how jump jets work. And you might be thinking, what? Jump jets? That's pretty simple, you just go up, you go down, you have like a certain amount of time. But there is actually something that you might not know about jump jets. Now, if we look at the code for MechAssault, we can see jump jets have a speed value. Now this allows you to go forward, backwards, sideways, whatever speed is set to. MechAssault has a unique thing which a lot of old games did, but it leads to some, jankiness to MechAssault. MechAssault jump jets have 2 values, one for forward and backwards, and one for left and right, and they both have individual speed values. So when you go forward, you'll go at this speed, when you go sideways, left and right, you'll go this speed. But you shouldn't really program stuff with 2 individual values. Well, what happens if you go diagonal? You go up left, up right, back left, back right. now you're in between two different values. So what happens? You combine those two values to equal the speed of the sideways jump jet. And this is usually higher than your actual main forward speed or sideways speed. Basically, as long as you're going diagonal when you jump jet, you're usually going to be going a lot faster than if you just hold forward. I myself have been using this for a long time in MechAssault multiplayer. Basically any mech, at least in vanilla multiplayer, any mech that has jump jets will basically get benefits from jump jetting sideways. You actually move faster than just walking forward or running forward. It's actually kind of insane because any mech that has jump jets basically goes way faster if you go sideways. In MechAssault speedrunning, we used to do this, or we kind of like learn about this right at the end. If you go sideways, then you're basically going to be saving time on every level that has jump jets, because you're going to be going faster than just running in general or just jump jetting forward. The weird part about this is that I think some controllers won't allow you to go full speed sideways. I'm not sure why. I think it has something to do with like your control stick not being able to like fully go top left. It's kind of like restricted. But I think, for example, on keyboard and mouse, you're definitely going to be going full speed if you hold like W and A for WASD and whatever. With some controllers as well, usually ones that aren't made by Microsoft, sometimes they like, go full speed. It's kind of weird. Sometimes you gotta just try it with your controller and see what happens. But yeah, some controllers just won't allow you to go full speed. So just keep that in mind next time you try it. Okay, and finally for this one video, the last thing I have on the list is getting health glitched. Now why does this happen in multiplayer? Why do you get health glitched sometimes? If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in multiplayer, sometimes when you pick up their health, it might show you having full health for like a split second, and as soon as you take damage again, oh, you're back to where you was before you even picked up the health. Now why does it happen? The reason this happens has something to do with how the network is basically handled online. If you're the host of the game, this will never happen. If you play Grinder, this will never happen. If you play Campaign, this will never happen. This only happens if you join someone else's game online. And you can kind of already see why this is the case. If you're not the host, then usually you're going to have delays. Like, actually, you're basically guaranteed to have delays between you and the host and how it calculates how much health you have. So for MechAssault, it kind of has really bad host advantage, but luckily it doesn't really matter too much as long as you have your whole team. But yeah, MechAssault definitely has host advantage. So you ever notice how sometimes when you see like someone shoots like an LRM at you and you quickly go behind cover and you still take damage? That's because of like your connection to the host. The host basically controls everything that happens in the game. So if it doesn't happen for the host, it didn't happen at all basically. So if it happens on your screen and you're not a host, and for the host it didn't happen, then the host will basically take priority, and anything that happens for the host is what happens. The host has to see you take damage for you to actually take damage. Now you might be thinking, how does this relate to getting health glitch basically? And the reason for that is because when you pick up health, it has to check with the host if you actually got it or not. So on your screen, your health went up, right? But on the host screen, you actually grabbed the health, but you took damage kind of at the same time. So the host calculates it as you took damage. Let's say you had 3000 HP. So you took damage, like let's say you took minus 10 damage basically, but you grabbed the health at the same time. Basically, the damage that you took kind of like prioritizes itself over you getting health. It's minusing 10 damage from that 3000 HP, even though you just got like 5000 HP from the health pickup. So it brings you back down, even though you just grabbed the health. The worse your connection to the host, the more likely this is to happen. But if you don't take any damage while you're picking up health, this will basically never happen because the game has enough time to update your health on the host side of the screen or host side of the game, whatever, before you take damage, so you actually do get the health increase. So basically you took damage, you picked up the health at the same time, the damage takes priority, so it makes you go back down to where you was just a second ago before you picked up the health, then applies the damage, and all that health is gone basically. It's kind of confusing, but if you understand how games kind of work, then it does make a lot of sense, but it shouldn't really be programmed like that. And yeah, that's basically it for at least MechAssault Game Mechanics Explained, at least part 1 I guess, the first video, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for more mechanics you want me to explain, or just how like, coding stuff works behind the screen, then yeah, just send it to me in the comment or Discord or whatever you want to say. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Alright, bye guys.
Yeah, baby!